First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow.
Hey, you've got 3 seconds for it.
I'm gonna amp this baby up, see how it sounds.
This is the FakeShemp.net podcast. Thank you for listening. This is the first episode for 2015, and joining me, as always, is my trusty partner in podcast crime,
Jarrett.
How are you, Jarrett?
Very good, Glenn. Very good.
Happy New Year to you.
Merry Christmas as well.
That too.
Yeah.
And we're joined by a couple of guests tonight. To your right, we've got the director of the instant cult classic Murderdrome, as well as the upcoming From Parts Unknown writer-director Daniel Armstrong. Thank you for joining us.
No worries. Happy Easter, everybody.
Yes, you too. And I'm quite excited because we've also got the third member of the FakeShemp.net team, and that is Justine. Hey, Justine.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
First time on the podcast, and we're thrilled to have you. So we'll get talking to you a little bit in a while.
Welcome to the Death Pipe. That's the American remake of Murderdrome. Yeah, they turned into a skateboarding film. Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Death Pipe.
Death Pipe. That's awesome.
Oh.
We've got heaps to go through tonight, so we're going to run through a whole lot of things, including the, I guess you could call it, inaugural FakeShemp.net award.
Very exciting.
We came up with that ourselves.
Yes,
yes.
This
And
is Glenn's baby.
Oh.
Yeah, it's incredible. He's been really excited about it. He's trying to underplay it, but he's excited, and I'm excited.
It's brilliantly titled. We've got the Glenn Award.
Yeah, there's a Jarrett Award, and
a Justine Award. Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got the granddaddy of them all, the FakeShemp.net Award.
I was going to say, guess what that one's called? Yeah.
Well, I should have left it to their imagination. But alright, so we're going to kick things off with a discussion about the films of 2014, the year that was, and we'll go through our top 10. So have you guys got a list made up?
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Alright, we'll start with the number ones. Who wants to go first?
Oh, start.
Alright,
Yeah,
Jarrett loves to start. And he likes to finish the stuff he wants
I don't like to finish first one.
to. No.
The first one I've got is the Grand Budapest Hotel. Are we going to start with number one? We probably should have started with the worst to the best. Not the book. It's your top tens. They're all good.
Worst
anyways,
Yeah.
worst of them. So mine's the Grand Budapest Hotel, a Wes Anderson film. It was a return to form for Wes Anderson in my heart. Like, I love his early body of work. Follow Up, Rushmore, Tannenbaum's very classic films. And the latter stuff, not so great. Still found something in it that I could take away and enjoy. But this was a return to form. It had the heart, it had the style of work, it had every element that was so amazing in the first 3 films he did. And I didn't think he was capable of coming back and doing it. He did it. He just wowed me. You know, this is a great film. So
I do agree.
Everyone enjoyed it. I don't know anyone that saw it and didn't enjoy
I do.
it.
I know lots of people that hate it.
Really?
But they hate Wes Anderson.
Haters. Yeah, there's... I know. Yeah,
It didn't make it to my list. It didn't make it to my list. But it's pretty
twice
fantastic.
theatrically.
Wow, that's dedication.
I don't know, I really go to the movies twice.
Well, cool. I do love the aesthetic. The miniature stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
F. Murray
Amazing,
Abraham.
yeah.
F. Murray Abraham is amazing too.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and what an ensemble cast. I mean, there always are in Wes Anderson films, but he has a way of bringing back everyone that's been in the Wes Anderson film into this film.
You know, I hate Tilda Swinton.
But you do. I've come around. 2014 is the year of Tilda Swinton for me because she was great at Snowpiercer, which is a film I didn't think was... I didn't enjoy that much, but I thought she was phenomenal in that. I haven't seen Only Lovers Left Alive. There's another film that came out this year that I saw again. I was just like...
But you know what?
God.
For her, she's like Sigourney Weaver for me, where I can't stand watching her on film.
Well, Sigourney Weaver
But
was sexy.
she's got so many good films, though. But there are so many good films regardless.
She's evil and great.
Alright, well, let's move on to Justine.
Right.
So this is no particular order. Let's just throw it out there.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
your...
well, no, I started with one, so clearly...
Alright, what's your number one?
What's your number one?
Begin again.
Oh,
Begin Again.
The musical drama.
You know, that was... Sorry about the little lag there. Jarrett's phone just went...
It was like old school Nokia interference. I've only got it so I can know what my top 10 was.
But Begin Again, that's the from the makers of Once. Is that the one?
Yes.
Yes.
With Mark Ruffalo
So I haven't
and
seen
Ernest.
that one.
Oh, haven't you... Oh my goodness. No,
I've seen
but...
once, but I haven't seen Begin Again.
Wow.
I should have watched that before.
They're really good companion pieces.
Yes.
Really good.
I
Like,
wanted to watch
it's a logical step. I mean, it's not the next film the director, I think. What's his name? John...
Davidson. No.
Shit, I'm really
No idea.
disgracing myself right now. But
He's doing another film at the moment, and he's doing the music with you too. Like Bono's writing a lot of music.
Really, Bono can't play guitar anymore.
Wow. Is that because of the motorcycle accident?
Yeah, he's actually announced today that he can't play the guitar.
Oh, that's
anymore.
probably a good thing.
Otherwise, he might just have been able to play.
Yeah,
Clone him.
right. Exactly right.
Bring a clone from the 80s back when they were, a relevant band.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway,
That's
so
all right.
begin again.
Making enemies. There's people listening and they're just really passionate right now.
Beginning and it's sort of such a really good film, and
I agree.
yeah, I think like Mark Ruffalo. Never
Literally
seen a
made
bad
it.
movie.
He is amazing.
Fantastic.
I reviewed it about 3 weeks ago actually, and I really loved it. I thought it was a really good progression from once. And the music was written by Glenn Hansard, who starred and wrote the music for Once, and he's the lead singer of The Frames. Yeah, no, that's a really good film.
You got to see that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm talking about the one she
Beautiful.
chose.
No, I'm talking about Once.
Okay, well we're all over the place.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, see them both.
I've never
Begin
heard
again.
of
I've still got to
it.
get around to it.
You haven't heard of
I'll
either?
do that really soon.
Oh, well, Once won the Academy Award for Best Song.
Yeah.
That's what. A little tiny Irish film set in Dublin. Beautiful film. It's currently playing at Princess Theatre. The
It's
live.
still playing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Running through till
Incredible.
February.
Right.
It's very cool too. Alright, well, my number one is a documentary I actually saw at the
I know what this is.
Melbourne International Film Festival, and it was I Am Big Bird.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was the other one. Okay, yeah, right.
So
yeah.
much, so you know, so
Wow.
so much for all you know. But no, it's a really beautiful film. You saw Being Elmo.
I did, yes.
Yeah, well, it's the same kind of film. It's about Carol Spinney, who played Big Bird. He's the longest-serving puppeteer on Sesame Street. Really beautiful story, because he was always the forgotten person in the Jim Henson workshop.
Right.
So, you know, he was always present but never really acknowledged, because he was inside Big Bird. Everybody else was,
Yeah.
you know, they were present. Their faces were exposed to the crew, but he was always inside Big Bird
Right,
with his
okay,
arm up above his head for the whole time.
Right.
Anyway, it's a retrospective documentary about his career. I thought it was a really beautiful film, and I really reacted strongly to that one. You know, emotionally, it really tugs at your heartstrings.
Yeah, definitely have to see it.
So I Am Big Bird, that's my one, but let's move on to your number two.
Number two is,
I love
funnily
it.
enough,
I love it when Jared does number two.
about number twos. In
Really?
a way. Well, about a man that they really want to pass a number two so that they can try and convict him or use him to find information as to where the drugs came from. It's the Australian film The Mule.
The Mule, which is
uh,
covered fairly heavily recently on FakeShempers.net.
Absolutely. There's an interview that's just recently gone up with Angus Sampson, just a phone interview that's put up on YouTube, and it's on the iTunes, Podbean, and everywhere else. The Mule's just a phenomenal, amazing Australian film.
I'm
It's
really,
just
I
extremely
regret
well
to say I haven't seen
Yeah,
it yet.
I haven't watched this yet.
No, I tried to watch it before tonight, but just because I thought we might talk about it because of the interview that went up, but
Of course, yeah.
I'm spewing I haven't. But
No,
tell us about the
Tell
us about the release and distribution about this. It's quite unique.
Yeah, it's a really cool release strategy that they had for this film. They were completely conscious that Australian films are being released into theatres at the moment. They're being released into limited theatres, and what that means is they're going to, say, Nova, they're going to, you know, the Hoyts at High Point, but not the other Hoyts everywhere else. They're going to these, you know, random locations. And because they're only showing on, say, like anywhere between 3 to 6 screens in each state, and that's major states, really.
Yeah.
I imagine, you know, go to Adelaide, Perth, and, you know, you'd be lucky if they even are playing a screen.
Right.
They're playing, so there's no marketing budget, so you've got no television advertising, you know, you might have a bus stop advertisement or something like that. That's about it. There's no one, so no way anyone knows these films are coming out. They come out, they play for 2 weeks, no one sees them, they're deemed a failure.
Yep.
So what they decided to do was go digital first, release it to digital on November 21st last year, 2014. And they would have it in, you know, iTunes, Google Play, all that sort of stuff. Put all the money into marketing it online, and create the awareness that way. And one of the co-writers, co-directors, and lead star Angus Sampson just took to the media and was constantly doing interviews, promoting the film.
Sure.
Been huge, obviously. He's the face of the Mule. So they did the digital release and then did the physical release 2 weeks later, and it went home. And part of the reason was, Australian films aren't getting noticed out there. Let's give it to people. Let's tell them, here it is, and you can watch it now. Don't worry about, you know, getting a babysitter to look after the kids. So you can head to the Nova to see it. You can watch it tonight.
It's part of the whole evolve or die kind of.
Absolutely, and it's a really cool sort of business model for us to adopt in Australia. I know they've been doing VOD and that in the US, but they're mainly doing it with sort of more genre-specific titles. And this is, you know, this isn't a genre film. This is just a great Australian film. So yeah, I think they've done everything in their power to let people, see this film, which is a shame there's a lot of people still haven't seen it. But it's available. They can just go out and get it whenever they want. It's there, and I mean, Australia is coming up.
Yeah.
So,
And there's another an Aussie film that was released similarly, with The Fell, with Daniel Armstrong.
Right, yeah.
And that was pretty much, they were giving it out for free. Go to our website, buy it once, share it amongst your friends. That was their whole...
Hang on, didn't they do something similar to this with The Tunnel when that came out too? Remember that movie, The Tunnel?
That was completely crowdfunded, wasn't it? That was
yeah, but I think there was a release strategy where they basically... They did, they gave it away for free, they put it on torrent and everything like that. And I watched it, I didn't download at the time. I watched that film on a plane. That's a great movie.
It's a great movie, but I came across that one after that fact, so I wasn't privy to that kind of...
No, yeah, I was unaware. I watched it on the plane. I went, geez, this is great. Sold someone. They said, yeah, it's been on the front page. I said, yeah, and they're like, no, legally.
Because I noticed
put it out there.
The poster art for that film was comprised of all of the people that had funded through crowdfunding. Is
that what it was?
You know how they do that? There's hundreds of
words. The mosaic sort of thing. I wondered, okay, so that's what it was.
Yeah, so your name could be on the poster if you donated.
Yeah, did not know about it when it was in the Kickstarter stages. But anyway, slightly off topic.
No,
Justine, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is See No Evil by the Oscar film.
See No Evil number 2?
Yeah, number 2.
Second one.
It was screened at Monster Fest.
Monster Fest.
It was, and I went to that.
With the Oscars.
Yes.
They were there.
We were there.
Yeah.
We recorded it. We've actually got the
Q&A. All 3 of us were there and we didn't realise that we were sitting in the same audience.
I realised I was sitting next to you.
Yeah, but Justine was somewhere.
I don't know what he was drinking.
So, See No Evil 2, tell us, what did you love about this?
Oh, well, for starters, I was already enjoyed the first movie, which was directed by Gregory Dark, and yeah, I just thought the Oscars did such a good job.
It was, it had their aesthetic stamp all over it. You know. It was quite stylistically different to the first film in a lot of ways. You know what? The one issue I had with this film.
Right,
I'm not going to beat around the bush, but it's set in a morgue, right?
Yeah.
Why are morgues always so fucking dark?
Yeah, no.
Like, it's just dark with flickering lights and shit.
Totally.
If you're in a morgue, it's going to be sterilised and fucking light.
Yeah, it's UV. It's complete, fluorescent lighting. It's completely white.
I had trouble dealing with that. You know, it's like we're in a morgue in the dark, and that's just why. Why is it that way?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it's pretty darn entertaining. And
Well, worthy enough for your number 2.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think they didn't embarrass it or.
Well, what they did is they flipped the dynamics as well with the characters. So the jock was played by Catherine Isabelle, the typical jock character in a slasher, and they flipped it around to be more of a feminist piece, I suppose you could say. It's an interesting film.
Final boy.
Yeah, exactly
Hang on,
right.
you just ruined the end of the film for everybody there. It's all good, people.
And that one also had a funny distribution, didn't it? That hit video of VOD.
VOD in the US, but here it's at this point in time, I don't know who's got the license to it and when they're releasing it. I had a look; it's not on any schedules right through till February.
Right.
So
interesting.
I think it's Lionsgate in the US, so that may be Universal Sony here in Australia, possibly. But
guess we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Oh, my number 2 is mine. The Editor by Astron 6.
What a movie!
The Editor was amazing. Also screened at Monster Fest. Astron 6 are awesome. Like I've loved their last films. I've loved most of their short films. I love them as a brand because I think they do it really well. But The Editor was like a yellow kind of throwback movie. Kind of played out similarly to Father's Day. Like the look of it was quite similar,
but much slicker.
Well, their funding ran out halfway through, and they had to, because they did the crowdfunder, reach their target, and then blew all the money within like the first couple of weeks, and had to then find money elsewhere. But what they came out with was amazing.
It's incredible,
and it was dubbed. That was what was so beautiful about it. Yeah,
like it really was. It was not just a parody of those films of the 70s.
It was a love letter.
It was a love letter, and it was made exactly like it.
Yeah.
They used everything within their power to make it look like a film.
Every trope that you know from those kind of movies is in there, as well as all kinds of in-jokes.
Totally.
Stuff that you won't get the first time, you've got to go back and watch again.
Yeah.
Stuff happening in the background. It's almost like a Zucker Brothers film with the background stuff. There's always something in the background.
And it never went... And that's the only problem I've got with their previous films, is that they got a little bit too silly for me.
Yep.
This is very funny and very silly, but at the same time can be watched with a certain amount of seriousness.
It works.
It works well, but there is a lot of stuff going on.
But that's because the films of the 70s and that sort of genre were silly.
And it's particularly with the dubbing.
And they understood that. So I love that one. That was my number 2 for the year. So we're going to move on to your number 3.
Number 3 is The Raid 2.
The Raid 2. It's an
What a
amazing
film.
film.
A film.
That is the film where you see the first and you think how can they possibly...
Exactly. How can you make a Raid 2? The first
Yeah.
one is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a relentless action film, and it's brilliant. How do you make the second one? Well, you take a relentless action film and you just give it so much backstory, and you create basically the Godfather.
Yeah.
The Godfather meets The Raid is The Raid 2, and The Raid 2 is just, oh my god, some of the choreography in terms of fight sequences, I've never seen anything like that before.
There's no way American films can do that.
There's no way.
However, the director is he half American?
English, I think.
English.
Pretty sure,
So,
yeah.
you know,
I'm pretty sure
he's
he's
not-
I think he might be full English.
Yeah, that's right. He's not
Yeah,
a
he might be
Korean
a full Brit.
filmmaker, but
Yeah.
he's made. You know,
Oh, Indonesian.
Indonesian,
But
yeah.
that's where he makes the films.
I know how cool is that.
Amazing film though.
I agree. It did make my top 10 list. It'll be mentioned later on. Yeah,
Okay. As will the editor of mine.
well, there you go.
We're going to save lots of time.
Yeah, right. Whiz
Just
right,
saying.
whiz right through those.
Number 3.
Jersey Boys.
Jersey Boys made my top 10 list as
Right.
well, so we'll speed through that. I love that film. It really did. I watched that 3 times in 1 week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I don't know what it was about it. I do love Clint Eastwood films.
Was it kind of so dark you couldn't see what was going on? You had to adjust the contrast and watch it a couple more
Well,
times to kind of figure out. What
First time I saw it was on the plane when I
Right.
was flying overseas. Then came straight home and watched it on Blu-ray.
it's cool.
The music's great.
Music's great.
Yeah.
Performances are good. I just love the way he's brought it from the stage to the screen without it losing anything. It's probably gained a lot more.
Did you see Roach in there from People Under the Stairs? You know, when they go to record,
Oh,
and he's the guy
Justin
that's
Of course.
you know, from The Thing You Do and from
Yeah.
People Under the Stairs. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He popped up. I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen him in a film for like a decade. Hello.
There are a few faces in there that I hadn't seen, but I love the guy that played the lead, Frankie Valli.
Yeah.
He was the original lead on the stage show in
Oh, was he?
Broadway. Yeah. Oh, awesome choice. What did you love about it?
I mean, for one, just the music.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Performances, incredible.
How cool was the finale? Like the musical number they did right at the end. It's not a spoiler by any means.
No, not at all.
But it's just-
story.
it's-
It's like the Titanic.
No, but the finale is a big Broadway style musical number, and it's
I didn't like how they have them how they had them done up as if they were older.
well.
I didn't buy that.
That's probably the only weekness of the film
Yeah.
is that the way
That's a hard thing to pull off with
you
films.
can't age people in films very well with prosthetics.
Not unless you're Dick Smith and you do, was it Little Big Man? That looked amazing. And that was Academy Award.
It was. Yeah, but no, that's a great film. I'm glad you chose that one because I thought I'd cop a bit of shit for having that on my list. You've already given me
Jersey
shit.
Boys once again.
That's alright.
I enjoyed it.
Alright, well, my number 3 is the
It's
new.
no La Bamba, but I really like La Bamba.
La Bamba's fantastic.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, I love that
So
brother
good.
character, man.
Oh, so good.
Yes. Why didn't he die in the book?
Exactly. Should have been you.
My number 3 is the New Zealand film What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, cool.
Which
Yes.
is a vampire mockumentary, day in the life of Vars and Bachelor
Very funny.
Vampires. Hilarious film.
Very funny.
I watched that twice in a week as well.
I want to see it. It's coming out
Yeah,
next week.
that's right.
Or this week, January 7th. So
Yeah,
I'm looking
I'm-
forward to watching it again on home end.
Really itching to see it again. Has
Very
anyone
fun.
else seen it? What We Do in the
No, I
Shadows?
haven't.
It's possibly the funniest comedy horror film I've seen in a long time. Would you agree?
Oh, it's one of.
One
I've seen
of.
some good ones this year.
Yeah, it's one of the best.
2014, one of my ones that are coming up, New Zealand
Okay.
film also. Very
Oh,
funny
I know what you're
comedy
talking
horror.
about. Oh, cool.
But
Well,
yeah, What We Do in the Shadows is great. Like some of the gags, like just so fast and funny that you'll be laughing about it for 2 minutes and you'll
That's
be
right.
missing what was going on.
and
yeah.
we should mention it's from the guys behind the movie
Yes.
Boy and Flight of the Conchords
Yes.
kind of have connection there.
Jermaine
Clement, yeah.
and the other chap
Reece
that did Boy.
Darby.
And,
Oh, the
no.
director.
Well, Reece Darby isn't it? Yes,
Yeah.
the other guy. That
Oh, gee,
Tamara.
Oh, shame ourselves here. Whatever.
Yes, he wrote and directed Boy.
Yeah.
And did another film too. Oh, Eagle vs. Shark.
Yeah.
Which less said about that.
Oh, I didn't mind that. Alright, moving on.
Sorry.
Alright, well, we're up to your number 4.
Number four is The Double for me, which has Jesse Eisenberg and Mia.
You can never pronounce this
It's
one.
not Wachowski. It's,
No.
Coming up.
You know, people would assume that we research before we do these things. We don't.
I've mispronounced it.
Yeah, anyway, the chick from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. She's in everything at the moment. She's in the Map to the Stars as well, the new Cronenberg film.
Well, I haven't seen The Double yet.
The Double's great.
And I've read mixed reviews about it.
Oh, it's really good. The director, Richard, surname I can't pronounce, it, plays Moss in the IT Crowd.
Yep.
It's his second film. He did Submarine prior to this, which I really didn't get into. I was a little bit underwhelmed with. But this film is something else. It almost feels a bit like Terry Gilliam's Brazil to me, but very surreal. But you watch it and it's straightforward enough, but everything else that's going on around it is quite...
I'm looking forward to it. If it's on your list, then it's going to be on mine.
Yeah. I got watched it and I turned to Danny after. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't expect it to be this amazing. But at the end, you're putting the piece of the puzzle still together, and it's really cool.
So it's got the double playback value.
Absolutely, I can't wait to watch it.
Oh, cool.
Really like it. And the style of it's incredible. It's very funny. It's a black comedy, essentially, very funny. And Jesse Eisenberg, I like that guy. I really rate him. I didn't when he first came out. I was a bit like, oh, I don't know about this guy. He's been typecast. So he's playing that kind of role, but he's really
he's a Michael Cera kind of character,
but he's been doing a lot bigger type of roles for films, like
broken out. Yeah, cool.
You watched him the other night in Zombieland.
I did,
and he was like really the breakout role for him.
He was good in that.
Great actor. But anyway, Justine, number 4 for you.
My one is the documentary on Spandau Ballet called Soul Boys of the West Side.
You know what? I've never heard of this one.
I haven't seen this. It just came out in December, I think, through Mad Men.
But that's really cool because I can add it to my must-see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, you watch it right after the meal.
And the double. About it was the Spandau Ballet had come down to Melbourne recently. And originally when I heard about it, I didn't realise it was a documentary. I thought it was a movie. But yeah, it's a documentary about them and just how they began and their rise. And then them now talking about it. But recently they screened the film in Melbourne. It was about last month.
Right.
And then they did a Q&A.
Very cool. Because they broke up for about 16 years or something.
Yeah, and then I think recently
and this is all about their sort of the genesis as a band right through to the split and then reform. Yeah, I really want to see this.
Well, I'm really glad you're a little bit more schooled on this than I am.
Go.
I'm going to get laughed at.
No, very cool. I didn't even know that existed, but I definitely want to see it. Cool. All right, so mine.
So it's 2 docos that popped up so far, and a mockumentary as well.
So there's another doco to come.
Is it one on my list?
My number 4 is actually a film that bumped Sharknado 2 out of my list because I rate my films based on the emotional reaction I had. So if I come out of it really buzzed, had a good time, then that's what determines the prize for the best films of the year. So this one I saw very recently called Earth to Echo.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
which is a really cool film, originally produced by Disney, made by Disney, but they handballed it off to another company because they just didn't believe in the property. So it was, it's kind of like a cross between Super 8, which you would have seen, and E.T.
It looked very E.T.
with a whole lot of chronicle kind of, because it's all found footage, which I reject found footage.
So it's a found footage film.
I hate found footage films, but this one's done really, really well. They follows these 4 kids around. They discover their mobile phones keep picking up signals and they can't control their phones anymore, and it turns out that the signals are maps, and they follow the maps, leads them to a canister. This is no giveaway, by the way, which turns out to be an alien trying to find its way home. So the film then progresses with the government after them, E.T. kind of style. Okay. But the production is amazing. The kid performers are really, really cool. And yeah, I just really came from, because I love films that take me back to my childhood.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anything that's Spielbergian or sort of reminds me of The Goonies or Stand By Me, I will just completely embrace. And this one was definitely one of those. So yeah, Earth to Echo, you should check it out.
Check it out. Like it was one of those ones that did have a theatrical, had a theatrical date.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, they never went theatrical and they dumped it to Blu-ray DVD.
Yeah, and I have no idea why Disney got rid of it. Like they actually produced it and just decided, nah, this is not for us.
Okay, and I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, cool.
Excellent.
All right, moving on.
All right, so number 5.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me is a film, again, that seems to be a bit of a love-hate amongst the internet people. There's a lot of hate for it on the internet, in fact, but I hashtag Tusk. Walrus, yes. Walrus Tusk. Kevin Smith's Tusk. I love this movie. Like,
cool.
It was that kind of movie I watched with pretty low expectations going in, not having loved the last few Kevin Smith films. And there's only like one part of it that I didn't enjoy, and you can read the review on FakeShempers.net. But aside from that, it stayed in my head for days afterward, and that much that I was compelled to write the review. But I really dug this film, Tusk. I think it's great. It's great that Kevin Smith's kind of found a new voice to tell stories. It doesn't have to have the old, Jane Silent Bob. That's not no humor that comes.
Mind you, that's what he's turning to next.
Yeah, of course. Well, no, he's still got the Yoga Hoses, which is going to be part of this, and then there's one other film too. There's a trilogy of Tusk in. I don't know how it's all going to work, but Tusk as a standalone film, I like. Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Yeah. Well, the two girls that were in the convenience store in Tusk, which is one's Johnny Depp's daughter and one's Kevin Smith's daughter. And they're going to be the two leads in Yoga Hoses, which is, I believe, completely shot.
Which is the new Jane Silent Bob.
That should be coming out. Hopefully not. We'll wait and see, probably.
It's really split with this movie, though, because I found it depressing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. It's definitely got
okay, well, I haven't watched it yet.
It's got an element that's quite heartbreaking, but then it's eerie and suspenseful, but then it's blackly funny.
I was already sold on it.
There's a lot going on.
Haven't had the chance to catch it.
No, well, it's, I think home in is February for this one. So it's just around the corner.
Alright, cool. Well, let's try and speed along because this has taken ages. So let's move on. What are we up to now?
We're up to Justine with number 5.
Number 5, the Suicide Theory.
Ah, yes, the Australian film Suicide Theory. We saw that together. It's the only film we've all watched together aside from our focus film tonight.
Excellent, yeah.
And I love this film too.
It's a very good film. We can talk about it more later.
Yeah, we've got some discussion with that coming up. So we can move right through to my number 6, which is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, once again, same thing as Earth Echo. Throwback to the sort of childhood films I grew up with. It's not your typical Marvel movie. It didn't feel like a Marvel movie. And just the concepts, the music, it's fantastic.
The Lloyd Kaufman cameo.
Yeah, in the prison.
Yeah, it's great. Like it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun film. And if you haven't seen it yet, stick around till the end of watch the Blu-ray till the end of the credits and catch the little bit of action after the credits there.
Awesome.
It's very cool.
Well, that's a hint towards my embarrassing movie.
Oh, I know where that's going.
Awesome. So, where are we up to?
We're up to number 6.
Be yours.
Yes. Did you just say the last one?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm so confused. Number 6 for me is the New Zealand film Housebound, which was bloody amazing. Like I saw it at the Sydney Underground Film Festival, and I couldn't wait to see it again. And Danny and I went and saw it when it opened for a limited release at the Nova. It opened on like Halloween.
Yeah.
It was on for about 2 weeks, sadly.
Cool poster art.
Poster art's amazing, and the poster art's going to be on the home end, the DVD and Blu-ray release when it comes out.
Do you know what I love about the title work is the same.
They did the same title treatment as House.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Very nice.
I'm surprised I got away with that, but then probably no one's coming to sue.
No, but that's an awesome. But it's such a nice font for a horror film. I love it.
It's so good. But yeah, incredible. It's a comedy horror, and it has so many twists and turns, and it's so smart the way it's directed. There's a feeling watching it. You get that, because it's obviously a New Zealand film, but almost reminiscent of Frighteners at points in time.
Very cool.
And, I could see big things for this filmmaking. But Housebound, brilliant.
Awesome. Alright, spinning around the table. Justine, what's your next one?
Mine is 22 Jump Street.
Oh, cool. I love 22 Jump Street. I really thought it was a really worthy sequel.
I thought it was a great sequel, yeah. Absolutely.
Tell us about it. What did you love?
Oh, well, I mean, for starters, I grew up watching the TV series when it originally aired.
How did you think the Hollywood treatment went? I mean, because it obviously wasn't a recreation of the show.
Actually, pretty good.
It was a very, it was nostalgic in many ways, but it was its own entity, wasn't
well, I still remember before they made 21 Jump Street, the first film.
Yep.
I think it was like TV Week. Originally, like years ago, flicking through and, hearing rumours about him going to make it. And, I'm saying to my sister Vanessa, who grew up watching as well, we just sort of, we weren't sure how it's going to be, but yeah.
Well, you obviously loved it enough to put in your list, but what do you think of, Channing Tatum and what do you think of them in the lead?
I think they're pretty.
Yeah,
they got great chemistry.
Yeah. They do, and the end credits is amazing.
Oh, the end credits is so good.
For anyone that watched the movie and didn't get it, that's the giveaway, isn't it? That's like telling you that we're taking the piss.
Oh my god, so funny.
Alright, cool, let's move around the table. My next one is another documentary. It's Life Itself, which is the retrospective...
This is what I thought was going to be number 1 when you said documentary.
Yeah, the retrospective documentary about Roger Ebert, which was actually filmed. They filmed his death. They actually had the cameras following him in his last hours. in hospital because he died of cancer. He had his jaw removed at one point. For the
Oh
last,
God.
for the last, 5 years, he's been like a Stephen Hawking. He's been talking through his computer.
Wow. Did I know that?
But the outlook on life he had was amazing because he didn't care that he lost his voice because his voice was on his fingertips. So it was just looking back at his career with Gene Siskel doing the movie show that they did, and the relationship was a love-hate thing, and it's just a really, really poignant kind of film. Also gets a lot of people in the industry talking about him, including all the people he sledged and had fights with, and they come to the party and and appreciate what he did. It's just a really nice film. I love that.
No, I really want to see that one.
Right, excellent.
Okay, so now we're on to number 7.
Yeah.
Number 7 for me is Nebraska, which only had
Beautiful.
a theatrical in Australia in 2014, even though it's a 2013 film.
Yep.
Amazing.
It is a beautiful film.
I'm sure everyone's already heard of it, and if they haven't seen it, they're probably never going to watch it. But Nebraska, and beautifully shot, black and white.
Alexander Payne.
So Alexander Payne.
Yeah.
Bruce Dern, incredible performance. Forte. How's he? It's
Fort. I think it's Fort.
Yeah, it's the E side.
Is it your forte?
But yeah, incredible film. Really, really, really.
I agree. Didn't make my list. I didn't actually consider it, but maybe because when I was looking it up, it did say 2013. But you're right, it had not.
Incremental February.
Yeah.
Justine, number 7.
Mine is The Normal Heart.
No, I haven't seen this yet.
Film. Oh, it's
This is
incredible.
the HBO movie, like made.
It's set in the early 1980s in New York, and it's just about with AIDS when it was still fairly new, and everybody was scared. And it's pretty touching and sad because there's all these gay men that was getting AIDS, and just really sort of seeing when they were getting sick and just when they had to go to the hospital and everybody wanted to take them
and has
they were basically just dying.
Has that got any kind of release?
It's available on DVD locally. Yeah,
Right.
they went to... Because sometimes the HBO movies are released theatrically, like Behind the Candelabra.
Yeah.
They'll go theatrically in
of
different
course,
territories.
of course.
This one went straight to DVD, I think, about October. But it's a big cast. It's got that chap from The Big Bang Theory in it as well, in a dramatic role. He's one of the lead guys.
I didn't pick up on that on my
Julia
order list in my
Roberts.
store. I'm definitely going to look into that.
Cool
and get
cover
it.
art too, yeah. I've heard really good things, so I've got to
Awesome.
check it out. I love Mark Ruffalo. He's great.
Yeah, he's amazing.
It's got Julia Roberts.
Is Mark Ruffalo a doctor, or is he one of the gay men suffering?
Oh,
from
yeah,
AIDS in
he's
it?
one of the gay men. He doesn't get AIDS, but he ends up
Trying to
becoming an
save his
activist.
Oh, fantastic.
Matt Bowman.
Well, we're moving around
I'm happy to see it.
Moving around to my next one. We don't have to discuss it because it is the Raid 2.
Raid
That
2.
also made my list. So moving on, what's your next one?
Number 8 is probably one that a lot of people haven't seen yet, and kind of goes against my rules of, technically this is 2015, right?
Sure.
Because it was released January 1st, but I went to the preview screening of it.
Alright.
The Imitation Game was released in the UK in November. Also.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah, great.
I
Great
can't-
film. Like,
I
it was
hate-
one of those kind of films I probably, you don't like him, you don't like his name.
I can't stand him.
People don't like him.
No.
So outside of the Hobbit films and him doing the voice of the dragon, I don't really know him from anything. I know I've seen him in things, but obviously he's never stood out to me.
I guess I've seen videos of him being interviewed, and he seems like a really, really awesome guy. And I like his personality outside film, but on film I can't stand watching him.
What else has he?
Well, what I hated the most was the fifth, the one with Julia Assange story, the Fifth Estate.
I haven't seen that yet.
Terrible. Doing the Aussie accent,
and
it just
he's
doesn't
playing
work.
Julian.
He does, and I couldn't watch it. I persevered to the end, but it really was painful.
Well, this isn't his performance in this. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He could be this guy in the film for all I know.
Yeah.
But the performance is incredible. It's a true story.
Yeah.
The Brits trying to decode the
Enigma
code from the Germans during World War II.
Yeah.
Beautiful story that I typically wouldn't have gone and seen, but I was invited and we went, and I came out and the score is fantastic.
Well, he won't put me off seeing it. I'll definitely see
really
it.
great film.
Awesome. All right, Justine, what's next?
Mine is Imaginarium, which features the music from the Finnish band Nightwish. See, I sort of struggle with trying to describe.
Well, it's very
animated. Yeah.
No, it's a cross. It's both.
Right.
It's very much a Tim Burton-esque Nightmare Before Christmas kind of feel with a heavy metal score. It's just a fantasy. It's sort of it feels like the Polar Express as well in a lot of regards. There's a lot of these fantasy scenes going through like a roller coaster kind of ride into the Imaginarium.
Right.
I vouch for this one. It's amazing. On Blu-ray, it's particularly good. So you'll have to check that out today.
Yes.
Imaginarium by Night. It accompanies their
I've
album.
seen it. Yeah, they've seen it out through through Griffin or something. It kind of came out really quietly.
And the international release has Blu-ray and DVD in the pack. It's worth getting. But yeah, it's kind of like, you know how Pink Floyd did the movie To the Wall.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. They made an album and then decided to do a concept film.
Okay,
So
thanks.
definitely. All right, moving around the table. My next one is The Edge of Tomorrow
Oh yeah, cool.
with Tom Cruise. I think that's a really kick-ass film. It's just one of those action films that came around and surprised everybody. I haven't heard anybody critique this one negatively. I think it's really clever. It's Groundhog Day in a futuristic military style, and clever. It doesn't repeat itself in its repetition, if you know what I mean. Like it's.
So I was wondering how you're going to get yourself
it
out. It doesn't repeat itself.
Repetitiously.
Repetition.
Like the same shit happens over and over, but slightly different every time.
Absolutely. And some of the stuff's so funny.
Yeah,
and the timing is just incredible. Tom Cruise, man, that guy. I know he's. There's a lot of people's opinions of what they think of him as a person and whatnot. And I've heard hearing reports of it, but there's no doubt the guy's terrific on screen.
I think so too.
You watch it and I always forget, it's Tom Cruise.
It's not. I cop so much shit for liking him, but I do. I think, Minority Report, stuff like that, it just sells it. Yeah.
But yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, cool film.
Alright, your next one.
It's number 9 now, is The Babadook.
The Babadook.
Australian film, The Babadook.
Brilliant. Well, that's my number 9 as well. So
there we go.
There we go.
So,
I love that film.
I'm sure that anyone listening has probably seen The Babadook.
Hopefully they have.
Down home, man. Babadook.
Babadook. But it's such that's another throwback film. It feels like something from the 80s,
like a childhood family kind
Monster
of
in the Closet
horror
kind of thing.
Sort of thing. Yeah. Dark, beautiful, and in fact they're doing a book at the moment. Actually,
the Bubba book.
Yeah, like pop-up book. It's all being done. You can order it now for I think it's about like $80 or $90. It's ridiculous.
It's a proper fancy one.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
No, you haven't. It doesn't surprise me. Yeah,
she signs them.
Sweet. No, that is a great film. Great film. So that's ours covered.
Number 9.
What's your next number 9?
Mine is Incompressor, which means misunderstood, and that's a third film from Asia Argento. It's a daughter of Dario.
Yes.
Yeah, I found this one sort of really interesting. It's like Asia's third film. And it's just about this like 9-year-old girl that's her parents are famous Italian actors, and she sort of gets neglected and she's lonely. And along
this
the
sounds
way,
very familiar.
Yeah. Along the way, she...
little autobiography.
Yeah, I reckon. Is she in it?
No.
Well, no, but it's a story of her.
Yeah. But
she's
her
put
daughter is in it and plays the main character's sister. And
cool.
yeah,
how old's her daughter?
10. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there.
Another 2 years she can get her boobs out because that's what Dario did to her.
That's what Grandpa would want.
Yeah, in trauma back in the day.
I could say 12, but maybe
cool.
Around that
I'll
way,
go check that out. She did she direct that Scarlet Deep? Or was that?
Yeah, and then that was her first, and then the
second one.
Yes,
About and the little girl and the woman, and I do. It's been a number of years. So okay, cool. I'm going to check this new one out. Yeah.
All right, well let's round it out to number 10.
Number 10,
which I've covered is the Jersey Boys, so we can move on to yours.
Oh, your number 9 is the Jersey Boys. My number 10.
No, that was my number 10 because the Babadook was my number 9.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, my 10's the editor, so there you go. Man.
Bam, we covered that too. Swift.
So number 10, Justine.
Oh.
Just like bam. Hang on, he did his 10. Right.
Mine is Maleficent.
Oh, Maleficent.
I've got this sitting at home to have a look at it.
I loved it too. It really surprised me.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's kind of aesthetically similar to the Imaginarium. I think so, anyway.
Dr. Parnassus. No, I'm just kidding. The last
exactly. Yeah. Awesome. No, I'm glad you picked that.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's a good spin on the Sleeping Beauty.
Definitely, Disney are doing a lot of those big budget Hollywood adaptations of classic animated films. They did.
Like Cinderella. That's due this year.
Yeah, that's directed by Kenneth Branagh. That one.
Is it?
Cinderella. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It does look good. I sort of, I look at these films hesitantly, but that one does look bloody awesome. And I agree. Maleficent was really beautiful. It's very dark and edgy for a Disney film. Disney are releasing their films Australian ratings with M's now. So they're pushing that darkness, which I like. Kids need to sort of expose that.
I think like Shirley did a really good job.
She did a great job, definitely.
It's been a while since I've seen her.
It was the metaphorical rape scene. It's fairly dark for a kids movie.
It's very dark for a kids movie. Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, definitely.
No, it's sitting there.
Blu-ray?
Yep. Blu-ray, that and Noah are sitting there. The two that I'm going to get to. I
do-
feel it's got to be in the right mood for
Yeah,
Noah.
no, you can fuck Noah off. It's,
Poor old Noah.
Yeah, that.
What if he says no? I'll give him one of these metaphorical rapes.
What was that?
They're fighting rock monsters at the end of Noah. I've heard that.
Oh, that makes sense. That wasn't that in the Bible?
Based on a true story.
Yeah.
Am I making that up? I'm sure it is.
Awesome. Well, before we started recording, I flippantly said we'll do the top 10 movies first. That'll take about 10 minutes. Yeah. So we're now 40 minutes into it.
Oh my god!
So let's
poor old Daniel
speed it along with
going.
It's all right. I'm quite boring. So.
Well, we're going to test that because we're going to talk about Daniel now, and I reckon we just leap straight into that. Firstly, I want to just quickly ask you what kind of films you grew up with. When you were a kid, what kind of films did it for you that fueled your passion?
Star Wars was the first film I ever saw. My parents took me to the drive-in, so I remember that one. But I was pretty much a TV person. I only say it's the Goodies and Danger Mouse and Roger Rabbit, and probably the young ones when I was a bit older. So it was TV more than movies.
Brilliant. Did you know that the Goodies are making the Banana Man motion picture?
No,
really?
I just got a heart on. So
yeah, a banana on. Yeah, they are. They're doing a big budget. I think there's even a teaser up there online somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
So a live action Banana Man movie.
Yeah, probably animated. I hope it better not be like Garfield or anything like that. But...
Yeah, no, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it actually might be motion capture.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Which would be that. But that's very cool. Like watching you on Facebook interact, I can see the Goodies in there. Definitely.
My sense of humour is the Goodies and Douglas Adams. I used to read a lot of Douglas Adams, so that's definitely who I'm ripping off. That's pretty funny. There are lines, and there are lines in Murderdrome, and there are lines in From Parts Unknown that are direct Douglas Adams lifts.
Oh, wow.
Because I've read everything he's ever written. And people just think it's my sense of humour, particularly people who've known me forever, because I've always said it. Yeah, that's your joke. It's like, no.
Cat's out of the bag now.
Well, as Dave Lee Roth once said, it's all about plagiarism. No, it's how you combine the different elements into the one cocktail. That's the time.
So, what got you into filmmaking? Like, what was it that sort of, the straw that broke the camel's back?
In fact, this T-shirt I'm wearing, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, is the movie I saw that made me think, oh, gee, I'd like to make a movie that looks like fun. I think I wanted to be a cartoonist, like write comic book stories.
Right, yeah.
So my interest was telling sort of superhero stories and action stories, and because I could draw when I was younger, I thought, oh, I'll be a cartoonist, I'll write comic books. But apparently that's not a career. So then I started just writing stories all the time, not really knowing what to do with it. And eventually it was after I saw Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, I was like, oh, well, that looks kind of achievable. Let's try that. So that's what made me want to make movies. I don't know how else to explain it.
No, that's the right answer, because that's the kind of film that does show you that you can do it. It's a DIY kind of film.
Yeah. DIY, I like that expression. I call what I do DIY. It's like renovating a house. So you save a lot of money, it takes forever, and you don't get everything right. But it's all done with like love and craft.
And you know what? And you ask any filmmaker whether they're big or small, and they kind of always throw back to that theory is that you just do it. Just get out there and do it. You can. And that held me back for a long time. Just the lack of confidence. Can I do it? But you just got to bite the bullet and go for it.
Theory is kind of meaningless until you put it into practice. Yeah. Because you only learn from experience. I pick up on theory really fast. In theory, you can explain chaos theory to me and I'll get it really quickly. But it doesn't mean anything until you're involved in some situation which already applied.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I find that with filmmaking, it's like you can understand a lot about film, but until the only way to learn is to just get some guys and cameras and go and do it.
And you kind of got to fuck up once in a while to really properly learn.
It's the only way you learn.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what you'll do is you'll understand how to apply the theory. Yeah. You understand the theory. Once you go to apply it, you're like, oh, there's reality in between the theory and applying the theory. And you come out the other side knowing how to apply the theory, so it works. So I mean, they go hand in hand, but you can start by just doing it. Now, it'll take you longer to get the theory. That's all, because you're experimenting to work out things other people have worked out. But that's still a good way to learn.
Absolutely. Kind of every filmmaker goes through that, really.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, so, with your films, with Murderdrome and the new film From Parts Unknown, is there a point where can you watch your movies and just be able to sit through and watch your entire film, or when you do watch them, can you sit there and you go,
through Murderdrome, I got really good at just once it was done and out there, I just let go of it and went, well, it doesn't matter what I think of it anymore. It's only important what someone who sees it thinks of it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've learned through Murderdrome. From Parts Unknown, can't tell you because I won't finish it till I get home after this. so we'll find out.
That's fair enough.
I can tell you that, like, without a doubt, the best way to prepare for making this kind of film would be to make the film first, and start again.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's literally, like, you get to the end of it and you've sort of improved so much of every aspect of the craft by the time you get to the end of it. All you see is, like, how things could have been done better, faster, more impactfully and all that kind of stuff. So, but once it's done and you go, finished, which is just a decision, you never actually finish it, you just decide it has to be finished now. And it goes out to an audience, so it kind of went through Murderdrome just to go, well, it doesn't matter anymore what I think about it. It doesn't matter if I think it works or not, but only matters what people might watch it to.
Yeah, that's great.
And talking like both of your films, it's a hard one to where do you start, because I believe one came before the other but didn't get finished till last. And can you explain these two films to us?
I'll do my best without being too boring. From Parts Unknown we shot in 2007.
Right.
And finished shooting, like, I think we started in October 2007 and probably finished in February or something, 2008, shooting the film. Now, I spent about a year putting it together in post, and then did a sort of contra deal with some people who remain nameless to help out with the sound, which went wrong, and ended up with a film with no sound, lost all the sound files entirely.
Wow.
I did read that, media release.
So that was nice and disastrous. At the same time, I was having life issues. I was unemployed and I was having some serious debt problems. I was living on couches and all that kind of stuff. And the computer that I'd built from Parts Unknown on was falling apart. Just wasn't capable of doing any work on. And something had to give, so I shelved the film. I just went, no, I've got to get life in order. So I went on the shelf and sorted out finances, life, and all that kind of bullshit. And then when finances and life got back together is when I made Murderdrome. Because that was just going to be a short film. It was like, let's just do something quick that takes us just a few weeks. We just this roller derby thing, bang, and that ended up being a feature film and then released. And then after that was released, I thought I'll get back to From Parts Unknown. And so November the year before last, so November 2013, just after Murderdrome was premiered at Monsterfest, I got the source material and rebuilt From Parts from scratch.
Wow. That's amazing.
So we'll be finished tonight.
Just in time for us.
Right back to the video files with your existing
I grabbed
the video files?
Yeah, I just grabbed the source footage. We had about 3 terabytes of footage. And I grabbed a copy of the script and I didn't even look at what previously existed. I just started editing from scratch.
And it will be finished just in time for its world premiere, which is next Saturday.
January the 10th. So we started shooting in October 2008 and we'll have our premiere in January 2015.
Amazing.
Which is pretty epic.
That is amazing. Yeah. Well, tell us, because Murderdrome was released first, we'll just talk a little bit about that. How do you come to cast these films? Like, how was that cast? And where did the concept come from, roller derby slasher film?
I'll start with the second question first.
Right.
The concept wanted to do something quick and easy and cheap that wasn't going to cause me a nightmare like From Parts Unknown ended up, and I thought, well, that's a slasher film because we just need a knife and some chocolate sauce. But that was just really boring. And I had also always wanted to do a film that was all on roller skates. The original idea for that got me to roller derby was a rip-off of the Warriors with all those themed games like the Baseball Furies and whatever. And I was like, one of them could be like roller derby. I thought that'd be good as protagonist. And at some point I went, how about roller derby in the slasher? And I went, yeah, that's fun. And so that's where the concept came from.
Had you been to any bouts before that?
Not really. I'd been out to VRDL to make a music video, but I wasn't really aware of what modern roller derby was until we started doing this film. But I quickly became very aware of what it was.
So how did you step into that world, and did they embrace you for it?
We just started the Facebook page, actually, and said we're making a roller derby slasher movie, and everyone who came and liked the page was a roller derby movie. Right. And from there we just started asking, how do we make this film? And they came up, well, that's where Louise Monington, who plays Psyche, I think she's credited as Cindy Lawbreaker, which was her derby name.
That's my favourite.
Yeah, well, she was very proactive. She just came on through the Facebook page and started talking. She was studying screenwriting at RMIT, but she just started saying she needs some help with the derby stuff. So she came on as a derby advisor and helped organise all that.
Fantastic. Excellent. Did you have any questions about this one?
About Murderdrome?
Yeah.
No, not off the top of my head. Oh, actually, no. One of the questions I was thinking about before was, how long was actually the shoot for that particular film?
It was 20-something days, but some of those days were only a a few hours long. I can't remember the span of time over which that spread, but I do remember we shot an awful lot of it at a rink down in Geelong, because they would let us in, but they were open 7 days a week until 10:30 at night, so we couldn't get in until 11:30 at night. And we all work full time, so you drive down there after work, 11:30 you bump in. So you may be shooting by 12:30, by 2 in the morning you're realising you've still got an hour and a half drive back, or longer if you're dropping people off, which I often was. So like many of those days we only really got a couple of hours of shooting and that kind of stuff. I think I worked out it was about 180 hours of shooting.
Well, it was one of my favourite films of 2013, and I made my top 10 list that year, and yeah, my quote even ended up on the cover, so pretty pumped about that. So,
Here and in America?
Front cover of the DVD in America. Yeah. Awesome. So, but that's got me really got me really excited for From Parts Unknown, Fight Like a Girl. So let's talk about that. This is obviously we've gone into the production of it and all that. So did you say it was ADR? Like how?
Oh no, I was able to recover camera mic footage, and I was able to recover, once I got my computer worked up again, recover folders full of sound files that just had no reference to the video files.
Gotcha.
So there were like literally thousands and thousands of sound files called like 0001000.
Wow.
Which just had to be manually listened to and manually resynced with video files. So that job took up a few minutes.
Is this you just purely doing this, or did you have sort of a lackey or someone helping you?
I got a minion.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
This is. I just sort of said, "Hey, no, do you mind helping with this? It's not hard. It's a little bit boring. That's all." Anyway, that guy's since committed suicide, but I just he's fine. He's recovering well. Yeah. So that's what happened.
But all of this is, of course, is more reason to see this. Like, I mean, obviously, like with this story behind it, like
absolutely.
Just aching to see it. It's only a week now, so everyone that's listening should definitely buy tickets and get along to it for shizzle.
Just on the note, you got this really impressive opening title sequence in Murderdrome as well. Have you got something sort of cooked up similar to that? That was like, it really grabbed you by the...
It was almost like a centerpiece at the start. It was
just straight away, like, the music was in there and the titles.
Opening titles at the start of a 7-minute film.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Yes, that might have been my efforts to make a short film vaguely feature. Well, that was always the concept, was to do those titles intermingled with like skaters. There is no similar high concept opening titles. There are opening titles, but it's more just like it's graphics and stuff.
You clearly had to have somebody on skates doing that? Or,
correct, there was a guy called Glenn, and he built a little rig so he could hold the camera forwards. He had a little mirror so he could see behind him, so he was skating forwards holding the camera.
That's awesome.
Very good. The girls chasing him.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a preconceived credit sequence idea to introduce, and because we also knew we knew when we screened it would be full of roller derby girls who would all know that roller derby girls were in the film. Yeah. So we thought, well, we'll give them plenty of roller derby and plenty of chance to like cheer when they see their friend's name come up. Yeah. And sort of control them. So that was very preconceived. It's much quicker and more to the point.
And how was Murderdrome received around the world? Because it has been around the world.
It has been around the world. I think America is the place that's impressed me most with it being received with actual excitement. Like it's probably had about 20 plus screenings across America, all through roller derby clubs, and a screening we had in Louisiana. I forget the name of the roller derby club. They're probably not listening anyway, so they won't be offended. But they actually rocked up to the screening dressed as characters from the film.
Amazing.
And stuff. Yeah. And they're getting there's another screening happening in South Dakota on Australia Day, and they're going to Skype me and Louise and have us do a Q&A before the screening.
Yeah.
Which we get requests like that from America all the time. Most of the time I say no because I'm very boring. But if Louise is interested, then I get her to do it kind of stuff. And she's psych in the film, I think I mentioned.
Yeah. Very cool. And it's definitely got a Halloween kind of quality to it. Like, I can see this becoming something that you can dress up to every year. I definitely...
The roller derby seems like that as well. Like, very fun.
I'm going home to dress up tonight.
It was screened at Halloween with Nightmare on Elm Street in Coffs Harbour somewhere.
Wow.
At a drive-in. It was Murderdrome, then Nightmare on Elm Street for Halloween.
Oh, how is that? You're filming a drive-in. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's when you know you made it.
Well, it's a definite cult classic. We're claiming that. Well, it was coined by but
Considering how few drive-in screens there are, to land on one is amazing. That's a real.
Absolutely.
I'd love to have a film screen.
Dream come true.
Absolutely. All right. So, is there anything else you want to tell us about from Parts Unknown?
Maybe the premise. I guess it's a female wrestling action film with some zombies that come out of a video game. I guess it's probably
Sweet.
Yeah, that's the most succinctly I can come up with it. Like, it's an action film. It's not. I think it's been pitched as a horror, or people seem to assume it's a horror. It's got a lot of splattery.
Probably by association with Murderdrome, maybe.
Probably, which is actually a comedy, not a horror. But like, I mean, I do a lot of blood, I suppose, and there's a lot of blood. There's certainly a lot of blood in from Parts Unknown. But it's really an action film, but instead of car chases and shootouts, it's body slams and clothesline. That's some zombies. And I used to work in the video game industry, which is why that angle's in there.
Right.
For anyone who cares.
No, we all care.
And on the night, on January the 10th, of course, it's not just the film, but like we've also got a live wrestling show immediately afterwards.
Female wrestlers too.
All girl wrestlers. We've got Sarah Monroe, Michelle Kay Hassler from Perth, and Cracker Jill, who's Cracker Jack's little sister.
Right, cool.
And then in the main event, we've got Vixen and Kellyanne in a hardcore match. So hopefully there'll be blood and they'll just hit each other in the head.
So like literally, it's connecting and it's not.
We're buying thumbtacks and barbed wire and all sorts of stuff. So like there'll be blood and insanity, and then the Mercy Kills. So that's
Take
all
your 2x4.
That's all in the one venue, and there's a bar. It's 18 plus only, by the way.
And there's been a lot of clips on your Facebook page and stuff. People can go and wet their whistle with it. And, you know, it's very exciting. I believe. Did I see Kid Crusher involved?
Oh yeah, Kid Crusher composed the original score, which is great. He's done It's like, if you can imagine, Kid Crusher's like a juggalo, so like Insane Clown Posse. If you can imagine that guy with Danny Elfman's sound pack, just sitting at a computer doing crazy stuff, that's kind of what he's come up with. It's actually, that's an awesome score he's done.
Cannot wait to hear it. I love Kid Crusher. Can't wait to hear it.
Was that Alice in Zombieland, that music video?
Directed by yours truly.
Yes, that's all us.
Yes. Excellent. Cool. Well, are you going to be there?
Well, no, because But that's
you've got a reason to be in Brisbane.
I am. I fly up on the Thursday, January the 8th, because that night in Brisbane at the Brisbane Underground Film Festival is the opening film is my documentary, Gone Lesbo Gone, The Untold Tale of an Unseen Film.
And congrats on that.
Awesome.
So hopefully we sell some tickets.
Yeah. Well, everybody...
Buy a ticket if you're in Brisbane. Come see the movie.
Everybody in Brisbane is going to be there. Everyone in
so.
Queensland's going to be there, but everybody in Victoria is going to be at the From Parts Unknown screening, myself included, my partner.
We'll split news at the New South Wales, so you can have half of it.
We could Skype screen each other. Somehow we could support each other's screenings via Skype.
Makes sense.
From Parts Unknown, the tale of an untold story.
Yep.
Cool.
Very cool.
All right. Well,
but I want to see this film. So when am I going? What's happening after this screening? Is there plans for distribution for home ent, or are you going to do some more screenings down the track?
We might do more screenings.
Right.
We did a lot of screenings through derby clubs with Murderdrome. We'll see if any wrestling promotions are interested in doing that. They may or may not be. And we'll just go back to all the people we met with over at the American Film Market for Murderdrome with a screener from Parts Unknown over the course of the year and see what people think.
Yeah, no, excellent.
Let's take it from there.
very cool. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Good luck, sir. Thank you so much for filling us in on a bit of background on the movie.
Definitely.
I really want to see it. So
but Daniel was kind enough to stick around earlier on and watch our focus film with us, so we're gonna talk about that next. But definitely everybody that is listening that is in the Melbourne vicinity should get along next week to the January 10th world premiere. Tickets are on sale, and you can find them on your Facebook.
Thornburytheatre.com is the easiest place to find them.
Boom, there it goes. All right, so we're going to move on to our focus feature film of this week, which is
The Sixth Day.
I want you to ask yourself something. Do you remember anything after being scanned by my bodyguard?
There's been a sixth-day violation.
How much does Gibson know? Who are you people? Open your eyes. Your family could get killed in the process.
We won't have to lose our best people. We will finally be able to conquer death. Your family is not really your family. They're his.
A human was cloned. That human was you. Kind of takes the fun out of being alive, doesn't it?
Tell me why I'm a threat.
The Supreme Court upheld the laws against human cloning.
Why kill me and not the clone?
You saw him, he didn't see you. Daddy?
We found him. They'll do anything to destroy the evidence, and you're the evidence.
He has a wife and kid, right?
What are you gonna do?
Take my life back.
How do you know? He's not you, and you're not him.
I know who I am.
The sixth day.
Now, Glenn, can you give us a synopsis of The Sixth Day? Can you tell us a little bit about the movie?
It's Total Recall 2? No.
Yeah, there was total recall overtones in this film, wasn't there?
It's an
With
Arnold.
the doll.
It's an
I was
Arnold
waiting for the Johnny
Schwarzenegger.
Cat when he came in and out of the cab.
Well, you had that freaky doll. The freaky doll in the back seat kind of
Oh.
was a Johnny Cab clone, the daughter of Johnny Cab,
Very
which is a
creepy.
spin-off in itself. But no, it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger film directed by Roger Spottiswoode, which is pretty much set in the not-too-distant future, which we've figured out is 2015, which was our reason for choosing it this week. But story-wise, it's all about cloning, corporate cloning. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a guy that's accidentally cloned, and to save... because cloning is illegal in this particular setting, the corporation are after him, trying to kill him to prevent the world from knowing what they're doing. So
That's an accurate synopsis.
That's
That
pretty
makes
much
sense.
it.
Is it based on any kind of source material? Do you know?
I think it's based,
Like
loosely
total-
based on a true story.
Well, it came out at the time that Dolly the
Yeah.
sheep was, so the world was all fascinated with cloning, and I don't know, it's flavour of the month, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. When the end credits came up, the screenplay looked like a
Well, yes, the screenplay was from, let me just go to my notes here. It's Cormac and Mariana Wibley, which they also, they're a Dynamo team, because they wrote National Treasure and Charlie's Angels and G-Force and the upcoming Uncharted video game adaptation.
Right.
So.
Is you revolved?
No, it's a big,
It's too
big
big a
studio.
production,
It's
yeah.
a studio film, but so yeah, no, it was interesting to see them doing this. Roger Spottiswoode was actually one of the first directors I got into as like a kid that I recognised the director's name, even before Spielberg. I'd seen, my parents exposed me to lots of adult kind of films, and Shoot to Kill, which is Deadly Pursuit in Australia.
Oh, the one with Sidney Poitier and
Tom Berenger.
Kirstie
Alley.
Tom Berenger and Corbin Burnson. I always get them. They're in Major League together. I always get them confused.
Yeah. Well, Shoot to Kill was one of those films.
That was a cool film.
Yeah.
It was my first thriller as a kid, to see, and he
87 or so.
87.
88.
I've seen that. Yeah, some video.
Yeah,
well,
you can only get a Region 1 DVD, but it's worth finding. So anyway, he was the first sort of director crush I had, and he, before that, had done Terror Train and whatnot, and he moved on to movies like Turner and Hooch and Air America. Stop, my mum will shoot.
I almost watched Air America.
Yeah.
It's been years since I haven't seen that in video. So.
No, that's got...
Stop, my mum.
That actually has a sequel. A lot of people don't realise.
What? Air America? They did a sequel. Oh, was it a direct-to-DVD sequel?
Yeah.
It neither had Robert Downey Jr. or Mel
No,
Gibson.
that's right. Yeah. So what did you think of Sixth Sense?
Sixth Sense I enjoyed.
Sixth Day.
Sixth
Sense was fantastic.
Sixth Sense great, man. Like it's probably, I reckon it might be the last great Schwarzenegger film.
Which is funny because when I first
Because
saw
End of
it,
Days was after this. It was like a year, or was it? No, it was a year before. I think it was 99, because that was the cusp of 2000. It was all about coming of the millennium.
But it's funny you say that, because when I first saw Sixth Day, I remember thinking to myself, geez, Arnie's washed up at the end of his career, he's looking really old. Watching it tonight, he looks so young.
I know, isn't it weird? Because he looks so old now, I know.
But
I'm looking at his crow's feet and this going, but you look so young still, Arnie.
But he fits in with the previous Arnie
you've been
movies.
old.
Like, it stands up better now than I recall, so
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Because after this did... What was that before this? The one with the CGI alligator and Vanessa... What was the singer? Vanessa Cole? No, it was Cole.
No,
Yeah. Eraser. That one.
Eraser.
Oh,
Was
yes,
that
Eraser. No, I think Eraser might have been before
Yes,
90.
Eraser was kind of
Williams.
mid to late
What's that?
90s.
Yeah.
Vanessa Williams.
Yeah, and that was... Yeah.
Well, this was like, for me, I think, I don't know if I thought that Schwarzenegger had in him to make another great film. He'd done a series of films, hadn't done one for me. This I really, really dug, and watching it 15 years later now, it's great. Like, it's fun. It does need about 20-25 minutes cut from
way too long.
It's always been way too long.
Yeah.
But,
and over indulgent in the final sort of action sequences.
Yeah.
But
the action sequences were a little bit too lengthy.
Shouldn't an action sequence be overindulgent? Like,
well, it's really overindulgent, but probably not.
I don't think it fit the rest of the film.
Time-wise.
I don't think it fit the rest of the film. It kind of felt like, the end of a James Bond film tacked on.
It did have the multiple. We finished nowhere.
Yeah,
we finished nowhere.
Had about 5 endings.
But that was very much the thing. Late 90s, early 2000s. Every film had to end.
Yeah, definitely.
For Parts Unknown ends that way. Like, it's actually just 1 minute of setup, and then it's finished. It's finished. Because we made it so long ago.
You might get like this yo-yo effect of walk-ins, walk-outs, walk-ins, walk-outs. No, I like. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Actually, I was thinking while we were watching it, it just took me back to the days of, inspiring movies and like watching good action ones, like on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And,
well, that's it. It's one of the last home entertainment releases where you would have a good VHS release, just before DVD kind of became prominent. Back in those days, I remember stocking a VHS on my shelves as well as DVD.
And then Michael Rooker playing a bad guy. That guy just plays bad.
That's all he knows.
He should have played a bad guy. Plays a good guy, but
that's all he knows.
He plays a bad guy, so he's got hair in this.
Yes, he does. And Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport's so good to see him again, and in a pretty central role, considering you don't really see him in anything. I know he did a TV series, not Life After the Worst, film, something like that. He's done a TV show, and that's what he's doing in the States. But it's good to see him in this movie. I love that.
And he's got such a comic presence too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Without becoming silly. And Schwarzenegger with the gold lines, like the "I wish they'd clone you," and he said, and the guy says to him, he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "So I could see things from your perspective." No, so you could go fuck yourself. No, that wasn't even Arnie. I'm not even doing Arnie's voice. It was
Arnie. Yeah. Yes. Awesome.
Right. Yeah, I was laughing at every Arnie line. It was a sneaker.
I think we all were. There was a lot of chuckles. A lot of fun. I think it looks good. I think actually the CGI is, even though it's dated, it kind of looks alright.
It wasn't too bad. And there was some really great prosthetic makeup, particularly in the finale, that looks great.
Yeah. Interesting to see a film that tells action stories differently. Action is told in films nowadays. Like action films nowadays is very much strobe lights and people have
fast cuts.
It's all in the editing these days,
or editing, or the epic CGI and that kind of stuff, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a certain like pacing and actual storytelling element that's not taken into account by most filmmakers these days in action. It's more just like, here's the action stuff, hand over to the action department. They do their thing. Whereas interesting watching a film made even just 15 years ago, where they still used to have car chase that goes for several minutes, and you actually see cars travelling for some time without stuff. And then they drive through a house. It's really a couple of cars driving through a house.
Without that complete gratuity.
But the driving through a house is a bigger deal. Like, because I know you drive through 15 houses. It's like, what do we drive through next?
Well, it turns into Die Hard 5, where it's just one endless car chase.
I did like the way the
storytelling element.
The storytelling. I love the way the narrative flows. Everything had like the ends had a means. I love the way that the narrative went along. It wasn't sometimes there's stuff that's just not necessary. Everything kind of had a purpose.
Exactly. I was thinking that at a point in time. I'm like, I'm glad that it's wrapping up everything it's put out. There's so many films that put a lot of things out.
At the very start of the movie, the first thing they show is like, here's me remote controlling this helicopter. So the climax of the film is all about remote controlling the helicopter.
But it works. It's nice.
It works. It was good. Yeah.
Well, you want these things, even though they're cliche and stock or whatever. When they're missing, you feel unsatisfied.
Well, that's why they call it formula. People go back because they love this stuff. Awesome. Cool. So, one other thing I want to mention about that. I was living in Vancouver when that was made, and I remember trying to get into the Vancouver Public Library, but it was shut down because that's the building they used for all of the corporate headquarters. Back in those days, living there, you could just wander down the street and stumble onto a set.
Imagine stumbling and bumping into Arnold.
I stumbled in. I did see him on the street, but I stumbled into Pierce Brosnan.
Right.
He was making Grey Owl, which is Attenborough film.
What was that like?
pretty cool, a little bit arrogant, but yeah, no, it was in a place.
I loved you in Remington Steel.
Yeah,
you're awesome.
But he was James Bond then. This was
Right, yeah,
late
okay.
90s, and saw him met.
You really suck at Bond, dude.
Yeah, I like him.
Go back to England.
Cool. So we've pretty much tapped out the 6th day.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, awesome feature film. I think you chose this one, so
I did.
good choice. Or do you want to touch on any of the technology that's come to fruition?
Well, no, I did do obviously there's a refrigerator early on in the piece that read how much the milk had been used and knew to reorder it. That technology exists today. And you had the nacho flavoured banana, which isn't too far removed from a lot of.
Would you eat a nacho flavoured banana?
I don't mind bananas.
Why did they have to do nacho? I guess they're trying to say things have become so ridiculous. We've got nacho bananas.
How's it like? There's a pizza that you can get at the moment, and it's a Dorito pizza, and then there's a drink that you can get. It's like a Mountain Dew, but it's Dorito flavour. I'm like, I don't want to drink what the chip tastes like. I don't want to eat a food and eat like a junk. Like,
I would buy Doritos if I wanted to.
Absolutely.
But a Nutella flavoured banana, that would go down well. Yeah. Awesome. All right, well, let's move on because we're really stretching it out.
Yeah,
so cool. That's all right. We'll move on to our guilty pleasures. My favourite part. I'm going to go first. If that's
do it.
right.
I was going to suggest that you do that.
All right, I'm not going to even go on about it. I'm just going to touch on it. My guilty pleasure is Lightning Jack, starring Paul Hogan.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes.
I haven't seen it since
Beverly
video.
D'Angelo.
Yeah, what a cast.
I actually love the film. I think it's genuinely funny.
I really liked it.
Watched it again the other day. It was my last film for 2014.
Right.
I don't know. It kind of.
This is on DVD.
I got an import.
Right,
It's, it's in widescreen, but that widescreen you got to zoom in on. It's not quite 4.3, but widescreen.
Oh, it's not anamorphic.
Yeah, that's right. So I actually loved it, and I was surprised how he still had his mojo then.
Yeah.
That was fresh out of Crocodile Dundee 2 and Almost an Angel. So he
Yeah,
kind of still had his thing about him, and he carried that through. And seeing an Aussie in an American Western scenario, I think the humour kind of played out really well. And Cuba Gooding Jr. doesn't speak a line because he's the mute.
That's right, he is.
Shoots himself in the foot and can't
I
scream.
do remember that. Yeah. Right, I saw it at the movies when it came out, and I remember, I don't know why I probably saw it at the movies, to be honest, but I did. And I loved it.
But I mean, you got these jokes that they're lame, but they're funny. Like, Paul Hogan discovers that he can make up jokes about Cuba being deaf or dumb or mute, whatever it is. So, he's saying stuff like, don't say a word, and then realises it's a joke, so he sort of plays on it, I like that. The way he does it is very, what's the word? Throwback to what we grew up with Hogan. So. Anyway, Lightning Jack.
Lightning Jack, classic.
Classic.
I can't wait to watch it now. You talked it up, dude. Yeah,
well, I don't even think it should be a guilty pleasure, but I think if I announce it...
Has it even had a local release on DVD? It's a travesty that it hasn't, really.
Simon Windsor directed it, Australian director, who recently did The Cup with Brendan Gleeson.
The horse racing film?
Yeah.
Didn't see it.
Good movie.
I don't
Doesn't matter to me.
I want to see Lightning Jack.
Cool.
I'm sure
Alright.
just as many horses got tortured in that too.
Probably.
Way off topic.
We're becoming political.
Justine, can you tell us about your guilty pleasure?
Mine is Lambada.
Oh, the Vendette.
No, the other one. Set the night on fire.
Right, okay.
It's made in 1990.
The feuding film.
Yes!
By Breaking director Joel Silver. And this one stars J.A.D. Peck, and he's like a young wrestler. It was an Albert Pugh movie that he was in.
Man, everyone's looking at me and I can't think of what that
was.
I'm a Pugh expert, not an expert.
Okay, well this one is about J.D. Peck plays Kevin Land. And he's this maths teacher at this rich Beverly Hills high school by day. And then by night he goes down to this Lambada club in the East LA. And he teaches the poorer kids maths. So there's a lot of Lambada dancing through that. And
you've got that to with love quality of the teacher coming in with the underclass students.
Did he take up with one of the younger students?
He doesn't. He's married.
Oh, how old are these kids, by the way? These aren't kids.
I
was like
17.
Oh no, that's completely fine.
So it teaches the kids to maybe respect themselves. And
He does, that's
with the Lambada.
So through dance.
Yes.
Yeah, with the Lambada dance.
And how old were you when you first saw this? Excellent. So it's one of those films that sort of, it resonates because you were impressionable at the time.
I still like it.
Yeah, of course. That's what the guilty pleasure is all about. Absolutely. Like butter.
I'm probably guilty of breaking out something.
Wow.
Awesome.
Well, you know, we'll be doing a bit of video production next year, so we might have to get a Justine Lynn Butter special.
Oh no.
Awesome, and Jared.
Right, mine's funnily enough, it's a Canon film, so it's kind of got that Yoram and I don't know, Meham. Which one was responsible for this one? This was after that split though, wasn't it? Because one was 21st century and the other one was whatever the other guys think. Anyway, mine's a Canon film from 1980, and it's New Year's Evil.
Oh my goodness!
I watched it on New Year's Eve, and I was going to watch a double feature of New Year's Evil and New Year's Eve, the shitty Penny Marshall. No,
Gary Marshall.
Gary Marshall film. But after watching this, I was like, nah, I can't do another one of these right now.
Yep.
So I watched my obscure film, which I'll talk about after. But anyway, here's a little bit I've put together about it. Remember when Richard Wilkins hosted MTV on Channel 9 back in the late 80s?
Sure do.
In retrospect, Richard Wilkins seemed like an odd fit, an unbelievably unhip character introducing the youth of Australia to new music. Anyway, the plot of New Year's Evil centres around an equally bizarre choice of host, Diane Blaze Sullivan, who fronts a punk rock and new wave music television program. On her New Year's Eve special, she received several live calls to air that threatened to kill someone close to her and just about anyone else the killer man encounter throughout the night. From that point on, chaos ensues and the madman cuts, strangles and kicks, yes kicks, his way to Blaze before the clock hits midnight or thereabouts. Our killer's motives are best expressed through a quote directly from them to the finale of the picture, and that's, ladies are not very nice people. They are manipulative and deceitful and immoral and very, very selfish. I love that one. What a line. Our killer's face can be seen in the first 12 minutes, though their identity isn't revealed till the finale. On the topic of minutes, our first set of boobs are glimpsed within the first 5 minutes. Danny didn't want me to write that, but
it's important information.
It's important information. They're shown in a reasonably creative manner. The most creative kill, though, is that the killer asks the victim, do you want to smoke a number? I've got some great stuff here, Colombian, here, smell. Then the victim smells the contents of the bag, only to have the bag put over their head and they're suffocated with that very same bag. And when a cop discovers the girl's body, he utters the words, gross.
Word.
The bulk of the movie's music's performed by a hair metal act named Shadow. They're responsible for the film's title track, which is an absolute cracker. I won't sing it for you though, even though it's in my head.
Sing.
I just don't know the lyrics, but I know how it goes. They even pop up in the film to lip sync along with some of their tracks on Blaze's music program.
Can you hum? Can you hum it?
Dun, 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 dun. At the stroke of midnight. Something like that. The title track, New Year's Evil, can be heard no less than 3 times through the film, from memory twice within the first 15 minutes, in fact, which I think is pretty cool. Also worth noting is that the copyright on every track on the soundtrack is credited to Man Your Music, which I assume is Meham, Golem, and Yoram Globus. So I think they actually own all the music, which is their business, or way of doing things. Blaze has a son, by the way. His name's Derek, a struggling young actor who's constantly seen to seek the attention of his mother. In a few rather bizarre sequences, he can be witnessed stretching a pair of pantyhose over his head and piercing his own ear, and then taking a heap of unidentified prescription medicine, all done in this sort of almost sadomasochist kind of fashion. It's very strange. I haven't gone to town on the weaknesses of New Year's Eve, even though it's a guilty pleasure, but I can assure you that this is a relatively inept slasher. But for all the things I've mentioned, it's a fun one and definitely worth a pleasurable guilt trip. And the film's actually coming out in February in the US on Blu-ray in a special edition release, which is pretty cool, because apart from that, it's only been available on DVD in the States through like MGM.
And again, the poster art's really cool.
Poster art is amazing. I think Justin and I were talking about poster art earlier. Yeah. This is one of the kind of posters that I kept seeing the video cover as a kid, and I'd be like, I have to see it, and then I saw it, and I'm like, this is shit. And then I saw it again because the poster art wooed me.
Typical Canon. They sold films on posters.
Oh, totally. Posters and a title. New Year's Evil. What a great title. Anyway, total guilty pleasure.
Cool. Mr. Armstrong, have you bought a guilty pleasure for the table?
How was it done?
Oh, yeah. That is the definition of a guilty pleasure right there. So much a guilty pleasure that you don't have to feel guilty. Like, it's become a cult thing. It's even got that pedophile Jeffrey Jones in it.
I was going to say,
I think Alan has sex with Marty McFly's mum.
Yes, absolutely. And he reads Play Duck at the start and masturbation right at the
People think Michael Bay's raping his child with powers.
Well, this is what considered the biggest flop of all time. I think financially it's one of the biggest.
Probably next to
Maybe. But
And Ishtar. And well, Ishtar.
well, according to Wiki.
Yes.
But it's produced by George Lucas.
Yeah.
And it vaguely resembles the original comic.
It's got the same name.
Yes.
It's got that.
What was the girl's name? No, it wasn't Tangerine. What was the name? That was the garbage pail. I confused. Howard the Duck. So tell us, why is Howard the Duck?
Because he has sex with money.
So
That's actually, like, this sounds a bit wrong. I was quite young when I first saw it, but I distinctly remember that Bedman and Martin McFly.
Yes.
So I think that's why it's
We will have to try to tee up an interview with Leah Thompson, because she's all over Facebook now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and ask her about that.
Yeah.
She walks around with a Howard the Duck jacket.
Oh, really? Like
You know
this day and age?
You know those classic 80s jackets with like the
the
leather
puffer
sleeves?
like the big leather jackets,
Like
the
a-
college kind of jackets and that.
She wears one of those around.
Awesome. Very cool.
Oh, I love Howard the Duck. I have that.
It's funnily
Guilty.
enough, I don't know if I can say that, but it's coming out on Blu-ray this year. Umbrella.
Yeah.
It's got the DVD now.
I will buy it.
Getting
I will.
Blu-ray out locally. I don't think it's going to have any special features. I don't think anyone that worked on the film really participated in doing anything.
No.
Apart from Leah Thompson, obviously.
The Region 1 DVD does have a
Right, okay.
nice picture.
Oh, was it, because it's been re-released like through Shout Factory or something over there, or is it?
No, I'm pretty sure it's not shared.
It's just the old Universal, like you saw?
Well, I picked mine up.
Right, yeah.
Any word from George on that one? No input from George?
He's too
No,
busy
it's got
tinkering
Lee
with Star Wars.
No,
and
he's
trying
done
to
with
find
that.
his neck that he lost
an extra.
a decade ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I love the cherry ones. They're my favourite picture of them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's definitely an extreme guilty pleasure, without a doubt. So that brings us to our obscurity films. Have we all covered the guilties? I think we have.
Yes, we've
Yes.
been there.
We'll do the same order. So I'll go for a 1989 Canadian film called Roadkill by Bruce McDonald, which is actually the first film in his road rock and roll trilogy, which was continued with Highway 61 and Hardcore Logo. Which it was a trilogy up until he
You've
then...
seen the last one, I've never seen this first one.
Yeah, it's
Roadkill.
fantastic.
Right.
I've actually got a... Here's one I prepared earlier. There you go. Written by Don McKellar.
Yep.
It's got a cameo
It's
by...
got Dario Argento in it. Behind the cover looks like Dario.
Then there's Don McKellar, and
Right.
it's got a cameo by Joey Ramone in there. And
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
it is very cool. The music's good. It's about an intern, female intern that works for a record label, and she's sent on the road to track down the label's #1 band, who mysteriously vanished and didn't show up to the tour dates, and she's been assigned to cancel the tour. But along her way, she meets a whole bizarre group of characters, including a wannabe serial killer. He hasn't killed yet, but he's learning. So it's just a whole quirky kind of road movie that plays well with all those other ones that I mentioned. But it was a trilogy until he went and made Hardcore Logo 2, and then a spin-off film. Yeah, Blu-ray double package fantastic. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Cool.
And then he did a spin-off called Trigger with Molly Parker and I can't remember who the other actress was, but Sarah Polley.
Okay.
So anyway, Roadkill, very cool film, very underrated, black and white. It kind of feels like Nebraska. You mentioned that earlier, so it has that road trip black and white aesthetic. The quality of it, very rock and roll oriented. So check it out.
Yeah, totally.
What is yours?
Another
like?
surprise obscurity.
Well, this I picked. If I hadn't lived in Canada, I would never have known about it. And I briefly went to the Vancouver Film School and was introduced to it there by some students. And yeah,
There you go.
let's move on to yours.
Okay, mine is a little less obscure, but I think it's pretty obscure. The title of this film is Miracle Mile from 1988. And I'll give you a brief synopsis. It's very brief because I mean, like, it's pleasure would be like ever.
Yeah.
So boy meets girl. Boy runs late for a date with the girl. Boy takes a mysterious phone call from a payphone where boy learns of an incoming nuclear attack on Los Angeles. Boy informs others of said nuclear attack and plans an escape from LA, but not that escape from LA. Boy races against time to grab girl prior to the escape. Boy and girl race against time to escape LA. Chaos ensues.
Sure.
Pretty much said in the last one.
Genesis.
It's about right.
Yeah. Is this the one? Is this Susan Sarandon? Is she in this one?
No, it doesn't have a record. Her name is Mare Whittingham.
Yep. Who's the lead?
The lead is Anthony Edwards. In fact, let me say it's Anthony Edwards. It's a year after he returned to the Revenge of the Nerds for Nerds in Paradise.
Yep.
And it was 6 years before he went into ER, where he got very bored and very boring for about 14 years.
Yeah.
He's still got hair and he's great in this film. Mare Whittingham is the female lead, and she's got this really obscenely awesome. Oh, no, just obscene. Mullet. It's terrifying. It has to be seen to be believed, and there's no way you can go, she looked pretty with that hair.
No.
You have to kind of go,
explain what you just did then. He framed it with his hand.
I did. I was voguing it.
You just have to
I was
go.
voguing it. It's a strange hybrid of film. It's part romance, part thriller, part action, part drama, and a whole heap of other things. It's uniquely quirky, almost a like comedy in a way. And the director who did direct this, his name's Steve D. Jarnett. Anyway, he directed Cherry 2000, so he's obviously got something for redheads because Melanie Griffith's in that. What else can I say about this film? It's got great cinematography. It's got a score by Tangerine Dream.
Oh,
who always seem to come here playing podcast.
We talked about them, yeah.
It was written in 1978. Apparently, it took about a decade for a studio to finance it, and it was due to the sheer production value they anticipated it would cost to make. And clearly, this film was made on a reasonably limited budget, because you can tell they had bigger ideas.
Yeah. How can people come across it?
Well, that's the thing. It's never been released locally on DVD. It did come out in video. I saw it when it was 10 when it came out, 1990 or so. It's been available in the US on DVD, but I think it's 4:3 and it's open matte. But it is actually coming out sometime this year through inaugural in the US on a special edition Blu-ray.
Cool.
Should have a heap of special features on it. So psyched for it. But Miracle Mile, have you ever seen this?
No, I know of it.
Great, yeah, it's a really cool film.
It's been a lot of
seen Miracle Mile. Yeah, it's cool. It's weird watching it now because I hadn't seen it for about 20 years, and I remember it being a somewhat more intense kind of thriller. And then I realised watching it now it's quite a funny film of its period in a strange kind of way. But yeah, it's a really cool concept. It's one of those kind of films that now this is the kind of film that you could remake.
Yeah.
With the right script.
Sure.
And you could do it better. Rather than
well, maybe we can get Cormac and Marianne Wibbly onto it.
Remake or reboot? Or just refresh?
Just just
rewind.
Just tidy it up and put Arnie in it. And they can put another ginger lady in there.
No,
that one that I hate in there.
Ugly rotten to begin with.
What's that one I don't like? The girl with red hair, she's in Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, Julianne Moore? No.
No, I like Julianne Moore. Yeah. She's great.
No, the Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Alright, Justin.
She's really a blonde, actually.
Yeah.
Is she in real life?
I saw her yearbook photo the other day.
She could have any colour hair. They should just shave her.
We should just ignore Jared.
Put her out.
We should ignore Jared and move on to Justine.
Don't shave Justine. I'm talking about the Emma Stone. Yeah.
So what is your obscurity?
Mine is a 1991 made-for-TV movie called Dead Silence.
Tell us about it.
Well, this one, it's never had a DVD release. When I check on eBay, it might pop up on video, but the last that I'm pretty sure it's ever been on TV was in 1994 when Channel 10 played it. So luckily my sister, she taped it.
Excellent.
Since then we've had it transferred. But just
and you're selling it on eBay now?
No. iOffer.com, where all the bootlegs exist.
True.
But the film is about there's 3 college friends, which is Sunny, played by Robert Mitchum's Robert Mitchum's granddaughter, Carrie Mitchum. There's Zan, played by Renee Estevez, which is sister to Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen. And Joni, played by Lizanne Falk. So basically, during their college break, the girls hire a car, they go to Palm Springs to party, and on their way, Joni accidentally runs over and kills a pregnant man. And as she's been drinking, the girls have to decide whether to turn themselves in.
Alright, this is
or,
not
or
I know what you did last
I was going to say, Hawk and Jack.
But yeah, no, but it's a great film, and it essentially comes down to who wants to do the right thing, who only thinks about themselves, and who sort of cracks under pressure.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Well, there we'll hook it up and put a poster up on the website because
Dead Silence.
Yeah.
And have a look it up. Yeah.
All right, and Daniel, have you got an obscurity?
I do. It's a 1970s animated film, which won't be obscured anyway. Called Wizards.
Oh, Wizards! I was wondering if you were going to just say Wizards.
Yeah,
I was like, hang on.
Yeah, no, Wizards. Which I remember going to the Valhalla many years ago when I was a teenager to see, and it was quite hard to find. I don't know exactly what year it was made. Directed by Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, I love Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah. Probably more famous for Fritz the Cat and the Lord of the Rings movie.
Yes.
But both of those are fairly obscure as well, unless you...
Well, yeah, the Lord of the Rings got a Warner Brothers release, but his film only had the first 2 books. It didn't have Return of the King.
Yeah, well, it was going to be 2 movies.
Right, and he got really...
He never made the second movie, but he's like selling original cells and stuff from all of his work in London.
I do love his work, even that Cool World he did with Brad Pitt, I love it.
Cool World.
I didn't realise he did Cool World.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah, very cool. But Wizards.
Now, did Wizards have any, like, because the Lord of the Rings one had that animation where they've actually got live action that's been animated?
Rotoscope live action, yeah, very, very much so. Had lots of that, because it had big battle scenes like Lord of the Rings. They did exactly the same way. It even had, because the premise is 2 wizards, one's who are twins or brothers. One's good, one's evil. The evil one it's a post-apocalyptic world, and the evil one has discovered the Nazi war machine, and he's pulling out Panzer tanks and Messerschmitts and all that kind of stuff. So they actually use footage of Blitzkrieg in action.
Fantastic.
And rotoscope it in as animated.
How good's that?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to try and find it and buy it.
It's locally available.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I got a feeling it might be Umbrella or something.
You might have trouble finding it now. It was available years ago because I found it once. I looked for it for decades.
Yeah.
And it came out on DVD around after DVD had been around for a little while, but it's disappeared again.
Discontinued.
It is hard to find. You'd have to find someone who's still got stock.
Yeah.
I doubt anyone is still selling it.
Oh, we're pretty good at this. We'll get cracking.
Might be easier to find than Dead Silence.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But that, like I said before, ioffer.com is full of bootlegs and transferred stuff to DVD.
So head on down to iOffer.
Yeah, and illegally purchase it. And if it's got no legitimate release, well, how else is it supposed to be? You know? Yeah,
that's it.
Cool. All right, now we're on to something special. We're going to actually do our FakeShemp.net awards. Cue music. Anyway, so we decided late last year that we were going to do some kind of award setup. So we've decided that each of us individually are going to nominate our favourite Australian film of the year, and that film itself would win an award. And then we would collectively nominate 10 Australian films, and the film that pops up the most in those lists will get the grand prize of the FakeShemp.net award. So we'll start with the Jarrett Award.
The Jarrett Award goes to The Mule.
The Mule, fantastic, and we discussed that in your top 10.
We did.
And they will receive a fantastic little award, hand signed by yourself.
Yeah.
The Mule, so everybody should.
My John Hancock all over it.
Fantastic, I'm glad it's got the John in front of it.
That's right.
So,
I handled it all right.
The Mule, it's a worthy winner.
John.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, The Mule, what a film. What a film.
Absolutely.
And completely worthy of any award.
Brilliant. So that will get announced in the award put up online
on
Monday. So Justine, the Justine Award goes to
Mark Hartley's Electric Boogaloo.
The Wild Untold Story of Canon Films. Fantastic. Yeah. So that's obviously a film that really resonated with you.
Yeah.
Very retrospective.
Yeah, I mean just growing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Canon films.
Who doesn't love Canon films?
Yeah.
New Year's Evil.
New Year's Evil, absolutely. Fantastic. So that award goes to Electric Boogaloo, and they will also receive one, and we'll put a photo up of that shortly. And the Glenn Award goes to...
Hang on, and can I just go back? Boogaloo, were we all in the same cinema for that movie, and we didn't realise that we were all in the same cinema?
I saw you and Danielle walking.
Yes, we didn't see you, and I didn't see Glenn.
I saw you, but you ignored me, you arsehole.
Did I?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like me. I might not have been wearing my glasses.
Right. Cool.
I was freaking out. Jeez, we got here. I don't know if I'm going to get a seat. What's happening?
It was a chock cinema.
It was packed, yeah. And I had this lady next to me kept that was funny. It was. Thank you for acknowledging it. I didn't direct it, but it was.
I had this couple sitting in front of me, and I don't like usually shush people. I sort of get angry in my mind, but just shush them.
You know
it wasn't me, was it?
You know what? I find a lot of the world premieres at MIF have a lot of people that talk through the films.
They should confiscate phones to her for something.
Because there are always people associated with the films that have probably seen it 100 times.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And they just don't respect the other people that haven't.
No. Yeah.
Oh, but these people are just talking.
Yeah.
That was funny because my sister said, "Oh, blah blah blah." She just asked me something. And I'm like, "No, I can't hear because of these people," and they would have heard him.
Yeah, good. You got to do that.
One retry.
Slightly off topic too. When we saw Murderdrome.
Yep.
I saw it with two friends sitting there, and we had some of the girls from the movie behind us. But they were actually really funny because they were doing like a bit of running commentary.
Oh, nice.
And they, so it kind of it added to the film. It was one of those rare occasions where you didn't want to turn around and go, "You shut the fuck up."
No,
it was very added to it because they're like saying something, and you're like,
Murderdrome is legitimately more enjoyable with a drunk crowd of derby girls.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, the Glen Award goes to Throwback by director Travis Bain, which is a Yowie film set up in the rainforests of Queensland. It's just I saw it at Monster Fest. I love Yowie, Bigfoot, Sasquatch kind of films. For Australia to have two this year because they also had There's Something in the Belega.
Right, yeah.
But this one particularly just really stood out to me. It was funny, it was scary, it had Vernon Wells in it from Mad Max and whatnot.
Commando.
Yeah, absolutely. Inner Space.
Yeah.
So that was just a film that really hit the spot for me. Once again, took me back to my childhood, the kind of films I loved as a kid. So pretty scary, violent, very funny. So
I'm looking forward to it. It comes out in February, I believe.
Yes, it does. Through Monster.
Really
Through
looking forward to
Monster,
seeing it, yeah.
Absolutely. So that is it, Throwback. Which leads us to the final FakeShemp.net award, which we all decided would go to the Suicide Theory.
Which I might have ruined earlier when I said, no, we can talk about that later.
Doesn't matter, no one would have known. Which is directed by Drew Brown. Coincidentally, it is the one film we all saw together. One and only film we saw together last year.
We actually sat together for this one.
Yeah, and it screened at
each other
at Martha Underground Film Festival. But it really hit the spot with all of us. It was a very, very clever, potent kind of film.
Yeah.
How would you describe it? We mentioned it on the first podcast, so by all means go back and listen to the first 10 minutes and you'll hear all about it.
Is that for me to do? Can I do that now?
Sure, and then get back to me.
But yeah, no, like it's got twists and turns. It's a character-driven film about essentially two lead characters and how they're brought together and then most unlikely kind of pairing. But yeah, it's really clever.
And it's about a man who desperately wants to commit suicide. Nothing works.
He wants to die.
He can't kill himself. He hires a hitman to do it, and all those attempts fail, and it's just how their relationship sort of comes into one. Yeah, absolutely. Amazing film. I thought it was the best Australian.
Performances were really strong.
And the soundtrack I really liked.
Yeah, very
the
cool.
opening sequence on the train was pretty good.
And it had a real international kind of quality to it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Cinematography was great.
It would play really well anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it wasn't too Australian that
That's right.
It would alienate foreign audiences. But again, I'm really curious to hear where the film's at, like if it's going to play a few more festivals or whether they've got a home release lined up. So I really want to see it.
And what's next for,
hopefully there's some special features on it, because it's one of those ones you would like to sit down and have a listen to the commentary.
That's right, and one of the leads, the guy that is suicidal, he's popping up all over television at the moment. All kinds of commercials.
He was great. He really stood
Do you
out.
know the commercial where they're in an office?
That sucks. I wanted to put him in one of my films.
There's a commercial where they're in an office and the guy raids the fridge and comes up and he's eating someone else's lunch and it's chicken.
Yeah,
that's him. That's him.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have that proper look at him.
Anyway, so that's the awards for this year, and that Suicide Theory will win the same award that the others did, as well as a statue, a crystal statue with the FakeShemp.net logo inside it.
Excellent.
And so yeah, it's exciting to do, and hopefully we'll get onto that next year. So looking forward to what the year has in store. So let's wrap it up.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up. We've got lots planned for 2015 with a particular emphasis on video production. We dabbled with that, or you particularly dabbled with that last year.
A little bit of that, yeah.
So hopefully we'll get immersed in
We've
that
got lots of
more.
videos. We shot a fair bit of content, Monster Fest. I just haven't had the time to come together, but we're looking at that very soon. We've got an interview with Jason Trost.
Yes.
And all about his new film, Glenn, reviewed on the website, How to Save Us.
Yep, that's right.
So that's a really good interview. Like, Jason's very film literate and switched on, funny, and a really cool guy. So
excellent.
I think you'll see that when you see the interview.
Can't wait. I want to give out a plug to the Valhalla Social Cinema, which this year they're changing their name to The Val. And they're relocating from North Melbourne to Richmond in a brand new setup, which if you go to their Facebook page, which is still the Valhalla Social Cinema as far as the name goes, they've got teaser pictures of their new setup and it looks amazing.
Looks really
They've just decked it out with new chairs,
really
a new
cool.
screen, and they kick off their 2015 season on January 16th with the Blues Brothers, then on January 17th, Holy Mountain, and then on the 18th, Picnic at Hanging Rock. So they're doing a bam, 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 3 nights consecutively.
Cool films. Are we going to go to the Blues Brothers?
I'm definitely there.
Yes. We'll have tickets on sale for this.
I believe next week. Hoping, Jose told me he's hoping to have a new site up by then, but if not, it'll be the old site.
Cool.
Definitely get along to the Val this year. They've been huge supporters of us, and we've enjoyed everything they've done. I don't know if he's going to do another
marathon type screening thing?
Oh, he'll definitely do those.
I can't wait for one of those. Maybe there's a horror one.
Pop-up drive-ins. I'm hoping he does that over the summer.
Well, I mean, that's.
But this new setup's a lot of commitment for him, so we'll wait and see.
That's fair enough.
So, anyway, let's just wrap it up. Thank you, Jarrett, once again. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Blake.
Looking forward to 2015.
And last, if anyone in Brisbane's listening, come along to Gone Lesbo Gone, the untold tale of an unseen film, a documentary about the 2003 film Lesbo, a Go-Go.
Guest starring yours truly.
You're crying. Glenn's in it. Glenn's in it. But yeah, come and see it if you're in Brisbane on January 8th. Tickets are available online, and they're also available on the door, I imagine.
Bam!
So there you go.
And Justine, thank you. It's been awesome to have you in. You're welcome anytime.
Oh, thank you. It's been
and your contributions have been amazing to the site. Very retro-eccentric.
Thank you.
Did I get that word right?
Retro-eccentric? Is that what you...
Did you get that word you just made up?
They are bizarre and from the past.
Well, Justine is worthy of new words, and that's what I've just done. So, and
retrocentric, I like it.
last but not least, thank you to Daniel Armstrong for coming in and discussing. It's been a nice lengthy podcast with a great discussion. And everybody has to get along next week to the January 10th premiere of From Parts Unknown, Fight Like a Girl.
Now, is that the full title, or is it From Parts Unknown? Because I see some of the posters says From Parts Unknown, then some From Parts Unknown, Fight Like a Girl.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
The film's called From Parts Unknown. The tagline was always "Fight like a girl. It's the end of the world."
Yeah.
But it's sort of seems to I don't know.
I like it. It's become its own thing.
Yes, it's more. It's growing.
That's whatever.
It's growing.
Cool.
Who knows what the fuck it'll be next week?
Looks good too. You got the Dude Designs poster.
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good art actually, not just the Dude Designs, but you got a lot of cool promotion.
Yeah, we had from Sherry Martini and Cody Hawks, who does all Kid Crush's art. Sherry Martini does a lot of stuff in the rockabilly world and G. Dante Sapienza, he did some artwork. He was our photographer. We got a bunch of art. It's been around 8 years, man.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So we're gonna say goodbye, and we're gonna leave you with a little song from the film. It's by the Mercy Kills, and it's called Little Mercy. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.